The backbone of Tips from Town are its posts. That's where its content lives. So today we're just going to show you how to make a very simple post. Once you are logged in with your username and password, you can either go to the dashboard to make a new post, or you can simply click on this new. Pull it down, click post. It'll bring you to this page. The very first thing you want to do is put in a title. When I first started doing this, I forgot a title many times, published, and it was lost in cyberspace. You always want to title it something. You could change it later, but put a title in. And then you want to decide what kind of a post it is. So let's do a post for fun. And let's sub-designate it kid stuff. Okay, and here is where, just like in Word, here is where your text should go. And we just want to get a lot of text, so we'll just cut and copy that a few times. I find it easier to put text first, pictures second. In the most simple post that we do on Tips from Town, we use an image that lives right here in the upper left-hand corner for consistency. When you finish with your text and you think it's fine the way it is, you can always add more later. You place your cursor where you want your photo to be. And then you click on the little camera icon. You can either pull a picture from the media library if you know that you already have a picture that you'd like to use there. Or what I do more often is before I'm making the post, I find a picture that I want to use, either from the internet or from a personal picture or from Shutterstock. And I'll save it to my desktop. You can see my desktop is a mess, but let's see. Okay, so here's a picture. Here's a child picture. This is my daughter doing yoga. And there's Lorelai doing yoga. What we want to make sure we do is that we title it. If it had already been titled, it'll be there. What I suggest doing is always titling it things that you think that you would search to come across that picture again. So Lorelai, yoga, kids, fitness. We'll put, because you might be doing a post on kids fitness and you know you have a picture you want to use, and that's a great way to be able to find it. If I had taken this picture from somewhere else and I wanted to credit that source, you can do that, and then it'll put in that picture with a caption. In posts, we always use thumbnail pictures for the most part, unless you have a specific circumstance that you prefer to use a full-size picture. But for the most part, we use thumbnails just to keep it consistent throughout the site. We insert it into post, and there it is. Just like in Word, you can bold, you can change the size of the font. It must have already been 14. There we go. Now it's 18. You can italicize. You can undo all of those things. A very important thing within posts is that you hyperlink. Often you're talking about something, this post I'm talking about, the great new yoga place for kids up the block. And I want to hyperlink to their website. So I highlight the words that I would like a user to be able to click on to link to another place. I click hyperlink, and I add the name of the website. And it's just as easy to have another window open with a URL, and you can copy and paste that URL right into here. Sometimes that works better, however you'd like to do it. And since we're taking a user to a different site, we want it to open up in a new window so that the Tips from Town window stays open. We want to keep users on the site as much as possible. If you had wanted to link to another site, another post within the site, or another place, perhaps you're talking about the great new yoga place and you remember there being a good fitness article about the importance of exercise in children or the importance of stretching for kid athletes, you might want to link to that and mention it here and then link to a post within Tips from Town. If you do that, you do not have to click this button because you don't want them to end up with 4 Tips from Town windows open. It would get frustrating. But you could search certainly for that post. And I don't know that one exists. I'm just we'll pretend that this was it, and then they would automatically link to that post, and you would unclick here. When you add your link, you end up with it being in a different color, just as you see on other websites. You can do the same for a picture. You want to just put your cursor and then click and drag. It will highlight the photo, and then you can hyperlink the photo in the exact same manner in which you hyperlinked the text. Now, on our site, when you see recent posts, and let's see if I can just take you to the site quickly. Here you see what is auto-populated as recent posts. In order for these little, what we call excerpts, to look like this, you need to put something in the excerpt box. So, what I usually do is I just take my first couple of sentences, something that makes sense but leaves the reader wanting a little bit more, and I copy and paste right into the excerpt. Once I've done that, then the picture will automatically go in as well. If you need to change the author for some reason, if you're actually cutting and pasting from somebody else's content, you can click here and just change the author to whomever needs to get credit for that post. Two other quick features, the SEO and the tags. First, SEO, search engine optimization. This is how a user who is just searching a certain topic would be able to find your post. So I like to think of things that I would be searching. And keywords are very important. So yoga, class, classes, kids, children, fitness, exercise, all things that could potentially be keywords that somebody would be searching in order to come across this post. And you want to put a very brief description. It could be the first sentence. It could be something else. You don't have to belabor it. Just something very quickly. Learn about the best new place for kids yoga. And that's enough there. Now that just brings us to tags. Under tags, if there is something about this certain article that somebody might want to read other types of articles like this. And that's a bit, I guess a good description would be under food. So when we have a recipe, we can tag it as Italian, Chinese, Asian, easy, things like this. And then if we tag another post with that same tag, we get a user could read just all the things that have been tagged with that designation. So for this, we might have other posts that say children's fitness. So I think. Sorry, here we go. Children's fitness would be a good post for this. And you could have more than one post. You could have children's fitness, yoga. You might have somebody who wants to read more about anything we've talked about with yoga, anything that you mentioned with yoga. And so each time you do a post, if appropriate, you want to add a couple tags. And you want to choose from the most used tags. Because if you had said tomato with an O, and then another time you put tomato with an OE, then there would be no consistency in they would be in two separate places, the two types. So you want to make sure you spell things the way you always spell them. If you can't remember, if you always write child or children, you can check here. And then you just add those tags. And we're just about set to publish. Just of note, you can also designate a post to another place. It can live in two places within the site. So certainly this could be under kids' health and fitness as well. And that's 100% fine. Is actually a very nice thing to have people have multiple ways to come across the post. Now we're about to publish. You have a couple of options. You can publish it immediately just by hitting publish. You can save it because you want to work on it later. You can edit when it publishes. Perhaps you wanted it to publish a few days ago. This is useful often if you don't want it to be high up in the list of recent posts. Or you might want to publish it a week from now because you had the time to work on it today and you wanted to publish a week away. Maybe the grand opening for the yoga place is a week from now and you wanted it to pop up on that day, which is perfectly reasonable. So you would just change the date to whatever you want, click OK, and then click publish. So for our purposes right now, we're just going to publish it immediately. And then we'll take a quick look at it. And here it is. And here are the categories under which it's listed: fitness and fun, kids' health, and kids' stuff. More posts about, these are your tags: yoga, children's fitness. So somebody who's reading about this article in children's yoga might want to see if we've written anything else about yoga, and they would go here. Now, obviously, we have to get rid of this because it makes no sense within the site. So we could go to, if we go to edit post, I believe, learning as I'm going, I don't believe you can trash from this location. So the way, if you want to get rid of a post completely, would be to go to your dashboard, go to all posts, find this post, and trash it. Now, there are several ways to find it. You could put some text in here and search. And that's actually going to take a while, but there it is. You could have gone to view all categories and gone to fitness and filtered, and then you would only have fitness posts. Certainly you could have scrolled down and just looked at every post in there, but I find this fitness one much easier way to go. So let's just trash that since it makes no sense, and that's essentially how you make a post.